All right, we've got part two, number two of the Glass Cut Bowl, where indeed the Glass Cut Bowl makes yet another appearance. We've jumped ahead in time, like I think about 10 years. Uh, they've stayed together. Evie with her husband Harold. The Freddie Gedney thing is in the past, though it is basically formed kind of a barrier against them. She has become less beautiful. This is definitely the thing. It's like she's lost her ineffable mystery, I think is how it's put. It's really interesting to see how Fitzgerald treats people getting older. He definitely does. There's definitely this thing where you wonder, how he felt, like, him dying when he died. It's like the dissipation that of in his biographical thing. This is her 35th birthday, and they're having friends up because Harold's company, a hardware store company, is merging with another one because basically the guys, and you can tell that the Ahern, the other fellow, is kind of gobbling him up. His name is going second in the Ahern and Piper company. But yeah, concerning Mrs. Harold Piper at the 35, opinion was divided. Women said she was still handsome. Men said she was pretty no longer. And this was probably because the qualities in her beauty that women had feared and men had followed had vanished. Her eyes were still lark and dark and as sad, but the mystery departed. Their sadness was no longer eternal, only human. So there's also that thing of youth is like this eternal thing, which is ironic since youth is definitely not eternal, and it becomes more human. Has this developed a habit of twitching her brows together and blinking several times, and her mouth had lost. Oh God, the description of her mouth is like, "Hi, this is my vagina on my face on the thing," because it's all these red lip kind of. It really felt vagina-like to me whenever Fitzgerald would be describing it. Now, her mouth had also lost. The red had receded, and the faint downturning of its corners when she smiled had added to the sadness of her eyes and been vaguely mocking and beautiful, was quite gone. When she smiled now, the corners of her lips turned up. Back in the day when she reveled in her own beauty, Evelyn had enjoyed that smile of hers. She had accentuated it, but when she stopped accentuating it, it faded out, and the last of her mystery with it. Which is, this whole thing of, you can tell this is like a male author. It's like, oh, the mystery. That's the beauty in a woman, is the mystery. It's like, oh, I just don't know how to figure out these dames. But at the kind of the end part of this thing, we have this whole fight over the glass bowl. A glass bowl which her neglectful Swedish maid Hilda prevented her little girl from cutting her finger on. Julie, yes, she cut her thumb on it because she put it to one side while they were dusting. So there's that. It's cut the child. That's an interesting thing of kind of past self cutting into the child, maybe past how she is. Actually, that's the thing, is she actually sounds a little bit more like an actual decent human being now, possibly. Evelyn, she sounds a little bit more like she's an attentive mother and stuff like that. She is taking care of her child here. But yeah, they're having Ahern and his wife, who might be common. She says, "Oh, is she common?" And is also scolding of her neglectful Swedish servant, because you just can't get good servants today. She wanted a good Irish woman, but she couldn't find one. She's ended up with a Swede. At first, I was worried it was going to be a black servant, and we're going to get another dose of racism. But it's more being prejudiced against Swedes, I guess, in this case. But yeah, they have a fight because he wants to use the large glass cut bowl, which has got obvious representations to her, where she's like, "No, I want to use the small one." And in the end, he just wrestles it out of her hands, and they're going to use it. And she tries to look contemptuous, but he just laughs at her, which is like, it's like, okay, this is a functioning marriage, but you can see all the kind of the cracks in that bowl that probably going to erupt further out, I'm assuming, in the dinner party that is going to continue on in part 3. Yes, they've, yeah, I think that's, being reasonable, and I am reasonable. She looked at him and tried to make her expression contemptuous, which is also that her beauty was like giving kind of mocking smiles, but she can't do that anymore. But he only laughed, acknowledging her defeat, but disclaiming all future interest in the punch. She left the room. Yes, so we'll see. I'm gonna have drunk men in the household. We'll see if it gets nasty. All right, more videos later.